guys, I'm just going to tell you right now, there's going to be a big spoiler in this. So if you have not seen the last episode of Kaiju number 8, it was season 2, episode 16. If you have not seen that episode, go watch the episode, then come back and let's talk about it. Okay?
One day, master's degree. One day, PhD. One day, you will write books. One day, commercials. One day, the impossible, you will laugh at the impossible. You will look at the impossible and go, what was I thinking?
Hello, my spoiler alert friends. Welcome back to another episode. Guys, I'm just going to tell you right now, there's going to be a big spoiler in this. So if you have not seen the last episode of Kaiju number 8, it was season 2, episode 16. If you have not seen that episode, go watch the episode, then come back and let's talk about it, okay? Because my goodness, hands down, the best episode of this entire series, like including season 1 and all the extra little stuff that they've added. No, hands down, the best episode. It was super emotional. Man, I was literally like, I could feel my heart racing. My hands were like clenched tight, and my jaw was like clenched the entire time. Like, y'all, it was such an intense episode. So basically, what happened? You had Kaiju number 9. He showed up and he was fighting the Defense Force again. He was in the middle of a battle with, so he had like made clones of himself and split off. And he was in the middle of a battle with Kaiju number 8, Kafka, Shinomiya, and then the leader of Squad 1 was fighting also in another area. And also shout out to him because he's actually really smart and pays attention to detail like none of the other ones do. At least none of the other ones have exhibited yet. So they're in the fight. Kafka finally is able to take over his kaiju form. He beats him, at least that's what we think. He beats him and everybody's like cheering. And I gotta say, I'm super glad that Shinomiya's dad, the director, essentially told her he was proud of her before what happened next. They won the fight, and then he tells Kafka, the leader of Team 1, man, I don't know why I can't remember this dude's name, but, and then Shinomiya, he said, you guys did excellently. Like, and for her, she was like, she got emotional, she's crying because it was like getting that praise from her dad that I imagine doesn't come very often. Like, he's a hard man. He's not like somebody who's like super affectionate, which also plays in a little bit later too. But he's not like a lovey-dovey kind of dad. He's just like, I'm not gonna give you praise if I don't feel like you really need praise. And I can see, there's a place for that. I get that. But when he told her that, she got emotional and excited. And I was like, man, that's good. I'm glad she had that. And then everything goes left. So this dude, Kaiju number 9, is a monster. He had, if you guys have been watching the show, he like takes over people's bodies and then he morphs into them and then he walks around assuming their identity essentially. And he did the same thing, and he was able to infiltrate the director's like his team of people. And when they defeated the Kaiju number 9, when they thought they defeated him, the leader of Squad 1 was like, nah, something's off here. He was like, he couldn't shake the feeling of when Kaiju number 9 had said that he's ready to take the kaiju for himself. And he's like, I don't understand. He was like, I get it if you're just trying to beat number 8, but what if your objective was something way bigger? And it was. And he goes in and he battles the director. Shout out to the director though. He, as soon as he noticed that dude was behind him and they had been infiltrated, he got straight into battle pose. Like, let's go. I'm ready to box. And I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. Ready to go. And his ability to stay calm and give orders while also facing this intense threat was really, really clutch to me. So they start battling. The director has to put on his kaiju number 2 suit, and he's like, here we go. And they start going in, and they're thinking maybe he should be able to handle him because of how much power he was able to generate, right? So he goes all the way to like his max form. And he's like, well, when he's in his max form, he can handle a Dai Kaiju, which is like the top of the top Kaiju. And they go and they punch, and he goes with the left. He punches, and then his whole arm gets shattered. And it's like, oh, snap. No, you're not strong enough to fight this dude. This guy is insane with his strength. And basically it's because he's been splitting himself off, so no one's actually seen his real battle prowess yet, his real battle ability, because he's been, I guess, according to the Kaiju number 9, they're supposed to be at his level, but they're not. And when it was just him fighting with all of his might, dude is a beast. So he's fighting them, and like it goes over the intercom, and the Kafka and Shinomiya and the captain are all like racing to get there to him to help, because obviously this is way beyond what any of them had expected. And then the director even mentioned that. He goes, I thought that I prepared the team for any possible event, but I did not prepare them for this, because he didn't even think of it being a possibility that they would be able to infiltrate his team. So they're doing that. They're fighting. Super epic fight. But during the fight, the director's having like flashbacks of like when his daughter had said that she wanted to be in the defense force. And then him and his wife were having a conversation when their daughter was asleep at the bedside. And they're like, and his wife was like, it makes me nervous that she wants to do this because of how dangerous it is, but she didn't want to hold her back. So she's like, I'm gonna train her, which means that I'm gonna have to be the one who's super hard on her, super mean, all of the things that will make her great. But that means you, Dad, are gonna have to be the gentle, loving husband and play with her and bring that joy into her life, because I'm not gonna be the one doing it. And he's like, yes, I got it. I'll do that. And I mean, when I tell you guys the agony I could feel from him in the moments when he's fighting and thinking back, because he's like, I failed. First of all, he's recognizing that he's not strong enough to beat this dude, which means that he's like, I recognize I'm gonna die here today. And I just need to do as much as I can to try and kill this dude with me, so that the existence that my daughter has is not with this monster. I have to get rid of this monster. And then also recognizing that he hasn't been that loving dad and super like joking and playful that he had promised his wife he would be. And it's just like I could relate to that on a level that I could not relate before. Like before I became a husband and a father, I could not relate to that. I mean, you can kind of sympathize, maybe a little bit of empathize, but man, I was almost in tears, y'all. That was super. It was such an emotional moment to me, because I'm like, I can feel you, dog. I can feel where you're coming from when you have your weaknesses and failures facing you in this moment, and recognizing that there's nothing you can do to change it at this point. It's like, dang, that's heavy. That was a heavy episode, y'all. I mean, again, hands down, the best episode by far. But I gotta give it to the director. He started throwing hands. He ends up completely merging with the kaiju number 2, like he was using its power, and then it somehow like meshed with him inside. And I mean, maybe that's good and bad, but I think ultimately it's probably bad, because the end result of him meshing with him and getting so strong and then fighting the kaiju and like taking him to a super weak point was that kaiju number 9 said, and it's such a cold-blooded line, I can't even lie. He goes, time to become a kaiju again. And he swallows the director so that he can merge with him. And then he becomes even stronger. And the monster that he becomes is like, he's stacked. And then he grows the wings. I'm like, oh, shoot, this is crazy. And then eventually Kafka and their team show up, and then they're trying to fight him. And he's like, nah, dog, y'all ain't strong enough no more. Like, maybe before you could have done something, but not anymore. You're going to need a little bit more reinforcements. And fortunately for them, he had to flee the scene because I guess he said when he does mergers, it messes with him internally, so he has to recover. So I don't know what's coming next, but it's super intense. And then the kaiju was so dirty. He showed Shinomiya her dad inside of him, like pulled back his face and then shows him. And it's like, oh my gosh, you did absorb my dad, like you just said. He is gone. There's no way for me to get him back. And it's like, because one of the things that we do as a human society is we bury our loved ones, whether it's cremation and when we're sending the ashes in a river, or we physically bury someone. It's like that's part of that grieving process of laying somebody to rest. And when you have a situation like that where this monster has taken over him and merged with him, now you can't even put your loved one to rest. So definitely when you think about all of the layers to it, definitely a super emotional episode, at least in my opinion. So I also watched some other stuff. I watched a little bit of Arc Knights. I watched a little bit of Shield Hero season 4, but they're just they didn't compare at all to the episode that I just watched of Kaiju number 8. So I have to reiterate this. If you have not seen the show, watch the whole show. And if you have been watching the show but you haven't had a chance to watch the last episode, you got to check it out. Hands down, the best episode of the entire series so far. So I will definitely keep you guys updated as always. Thank you guys for joining me in another week. And I'll probably put some more stuff out about the other stuff I watched. But this one, I had to just devote an episode just to that episode because it was so good. It was so good, guys. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.
One thing I know.